I went I went to find the song that I was listening to, and it stopped anyway, so I ended up screwing up the video. So it's going to be a two-part video. If you're here with the second part, the name of the song is Easy to Love You by Theory of a Dead Man. If you are back, if you have a problem with my content, hard left. If you have a problem with my language, hard left. That means I use the fuck word, I use bullshit, I use motherfucker, and I use get the fuck out a lot. But if you have a problem with my appearance, go fuck yourself and hard left. If you have a problem with my vulgarity, hard left. Now, let me get back to shuffling these cards. I can't believe I did that. But I did, so this is a two-part video. Oh man, I forgot. Hold my cigarette butt off. I'm trying to stop that habit. I mean, I look down and I'm sad, but that shit happens. I needed a two-part video anyway. That one was over 30 minutes long. It's probably going to take 2 hours to upload. So, if you're back, so it was a revelation that I needed to leave. And the trouble with that whole one was the sexual aspect was a destructive part of me. It was psychological that I needed to have somebody in that area of my life. Somebody I needed to have sexually. It took a lot of planning to get away from that. And how that was, the only fairness was mutual masturbation. And he became restless, I'm sure, because now, I did have sex with him just before I left, but that was with an open mind that I was done, and apparently he wasn't. And now I'm searching for peace, and distancing myself from trouble. But I tried to use compassion at Christmas when we all got together. But I feel like he got too attached on that one, and I was moving on. And that was fearlessness. I had to break some rules. And I did. I shouldn't have slept with him that night, but I did. It was me, to be honest, it was a moment of weakness. I had just spent time away from him and trying to find some emotional connection again. And it took an inventive way of getting out. I had a breakthrough that I could do without it. I had to change my cycles. My contribution in that relationship was over. It took courage and strength. Now, I have a little instability at the moment, but it's a celebration in my life. Past that, and right now, I'm in a cycle of creation. The creation of feelings for other enjoyment, but not of wealth. I mean, I'm not wealthy by any means, but I do have a car I can just get rid of. I'm looking for education, and I don't know, I'm educating myself on people at the moment. I'm avoiding annoyances, competition. I mean, I'm not gonna fight for a man. The man doesn't want my attention, then fuck him. I don't need his attention either. If I don't have to have your attention, to be honest. I went to see somebody to talk to them in October of 2021. I figured, I needed to express what was going on in my life. And was met with rejection. So, go fuck you too. You have no idea why I was there, so maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't give a fuck. But I was looking to my future, and I'm practicing divine arts. And if you have any question as to what those are, go look them up. My husband had family control issues. He wanted to control me. I'm in downtown Nashville, and and I found out that they're replacing the solar panels here on the Music City Center. And they are taking care of those. They should be up in a few days. Hopefully this loud noise will not be continuing for the next few days while I do these videos. But what I was doing was trying to begin with healing, taking leadership in my life, looking for a retreat, and seeing if you wanted to travel with me worldly. Maybe under the disguise of a deception, but I went with it. And I set in motion plans. Okay, here sooner or later, I'm going to get the wind to work with me. I set in motion plans I took to travel. Unconscious thoughts came up. The possibilities. You know, that maybe we had left both each other wounded. And I struggled with it, but I was awakened, trying to stay ahead. And I stayed calm in what you did. Because what you did was destruct a lot of things. So I put up boundaries, and so did you. But I'm not ashamed. I'm still moving forward. Learning from mistakes and controlling my anger. And looking for long-term stability. Walking through spiritual doorways for the sake of logic. I compromised, and I look for the treasure in life. As a matter of fact, my treasure in life is in Sanibel Island. Sanibel Island, Florida. If you haven't been there and you are a beachcomber, definitely go there. Another place is Deal Island in Maryland. I believe it's in Maryland. If you like sea glass or beach glass, that is the place to go. I've got a special place that is loaded with glass. Another place I like to go is on the basin in Norfolk, Virginia. There's a place I used to go when my husband was out at sea. I'd wait for them, but there was a gazebo there at one time. So I never walked the beach. And when I went walking the beach, I found old glass. Another place in Chesapeake, Virginia. Not Chesapeake, Virginia, but Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's off the Chesapeake Bay. Right around the border of Virginia Beach and Norfolk. There's a bridge. I can't remember what the name of the bridge is, but I found an old piece. It had to have been 150 years old of green glass. That was a previous medicine bottle. It could have been as old as 200 or 300 years old. Very valuable, but I don't sell my beach glass. I don't sell anything. I don't look at limitations. I seek my higher self when I go out there. Because you've got to have meditation time every day. You go off the beach, that's meditation. You don't have to sit and think. You can walk and think. You can talk and think. And I talk and think a lot, even to myself. So you see me around Nashville and I've got my mouth moving. Hell, I know that the shelter over here thinks I'm absolutely crazy because I was discussing what I was going to discuss in this vlog today. And I know the woman was looking at me like I was crazy. I was laughing to myself. Discussing what the woman had been discussing with me biblically. And I found myself keeping myself entertained while doing some work for the actual center itself. I found my relationship to be loveless again. And I would rather tell him than be a liar. I didn't want to be juvenile about it. But I needed a new foundation. I didn't want to live with a lack of security. And when you, let me explain lack
That's
of
the only
security.
thing you think of when you look at a bag like that on a hat. Bada boom, bada bang. Some can't add it up. I think they way slow.
A lack of security.
That's a deuce in
That's
the
what's
quarter.
going on here in Nashville.
That's a band on a deuce in the
Apparently.
quarter. Some can't figure it out.
Apparently, I'm gonna have to deal with some else here. But
You gotta know how to.
I was
you gotta know
leaving
how to pick it.
behind
Picking it out of
an
the-
unawakened
what it is.
person
That's
who's
what
now
I'm
in an overthinking and probably in a cycle of destruction. Because I know my kids, well, at least one of them, and my husband, have an opinion of my
You gotta
interests.
take care of the honey.
And they want to cause conflict with me. But I am not in
He
confusion.
was taking care of the honey. and
Their
he got
behavior
caught.
is difficult for me to handle. I would rather
Yeah.
be responsible, take responsibility, than to deal with a fraudulent life. And I'll deal with the gossip. I'm in pursuit of wonder. Going within, and again, internal, going within. I've got 2 stacks today. And I'm taking action with empathy.
David.
He was an enabler. And I needed a new job. I was done with fighting. It takes teamwork, not fighting. I learned and I stayed guarded constantly. It was an easy change for me because my vision, solace, and renewal. My destiny is coming to the surface. I'm setting in motion a new partnership with me, myself, God, my angels who guide me. Because God sends down angels down here to guide you every step of the way. You just got to be able to listen. You got to break through the confusion of everyday life, materialism, and property. You got to break those cycles. Move on past your fear of mistakes. Stop risking your own life for security.
That thing really do go underwater. You can see the top.
If you take
The pebble.
just the moon cycles and look at it, take a look at the moon. When you close out a cycle, you should be looking at the new moon. Something new is coming into your life. Full moon. You're closing a chapter in your life.
That's a part of team
Look at your
right
dreams.
there.
And a half moon, look at
the
it
first
this
one
way.
that came out.
Is that moon half full or half
there.
empty? Because if you're looking at your relationship in the same manner, you should be able to move with the moon cycle. Me, I look at the new moon, the full moon. Okay, full moon, I'm closing out a cycle. It's completely full. I'm done. So I look at the half moon and go, okay, where am I going in my life?
That's $1 million brim he got on now. That's $1 million brim he got on.
I look at the full moon as where I'm going in my life. And if it's done, I cut it off.
Can't rock it like
The
that.
new moon is when I take the next
That's all
step.
the way up.
Now, that's just one option. But you gotta look at the half moon as a
Like Blue Island,
crossroads.
Illinois.
Is it time to get rid of it? Or is it time to keep it? Is it time to make a move?
And you look in that
Well,
window and
don't
you
do it on the
apply
half
something.
moon. Maybe
You
look
ain't
at it
know about it.
as going into the full moon. Because sometimes there's deception in that other half. Sometimes that's inevitable.
I told you I've been
Seek
some
spiritual
places now. That's
authority.
called affordable. It's called
But
affordable
sometimes
now.
that can be
Okay,
clashing
with good.
with your
The other
trial.
there.
Look to a helpful person if you don't understand that. Stop looking with preoccupation.
I'm kind of fast now.
Quit being preoccupied with the material possessions in this world. Look for tradition.
Guys,
Change your perspective. Drop those burdens.
guys.
Celebrate grace with fresh ideas and a new life. Temperance. Drop the burden. Forget about the struggle, because sometimes the struggle is just supposed to be there.
I'm getting movie here.
Look to the universe. You'll find success. There's a reason for everything. Stop worrying. Sometimes your mom, your dad, they can have family control issues. You gotta they'll make you want to have self-pity. But sometimes peace and endings is what you have to go to with those family members. And like I said, my family was not happy that I moved away. Not at all. That's mastery. Because sometimes society is always going to have something to say. You got to use your instinct to search for freedom. Without a hesitation. Try something new. With creativity. Follow your dreams. Use your intuition. Channel your success. Sometimes comfort is achieved in fertility and leaving behind. But it takes leaving it behind sometimes for that to be fertile. Your mind, body, and spirit. Always take that retreat. Take that retreat into nature if you need to. I like nature forming. I love to see nature forming in front of me. I'll come out and feed the birds here at Dunkin' Donuts or Music City Center. And that may be something that, most people frown upon. Well, you're staying at the homeless shelter. How can you feed birds? Well, I have bread too, It's a responsibility to nature. Keep it fertile too. If you respect nature, it will respect you. A difficult opponent would tell you, you need to worry. You need to worry. What are you going to do tomorrow? You know what? I ain't worrying about a loveless relationship. I ain't lying to myself saying I'm good. I quit that. I'm quitting attachments. And I'm going with the luck of the draw. With craftsmanship. A successful collaboration? Maybe. Maybe. Later. Maybe. Right now, it only looks like a difficult situation because I chose to end it. He was a karmic partner to me. And what do I mean by a karmic partner? You always seem like you're stuck talking around in circles. Like you just don't seem to get along with that person. That is a karmic partner. That is a karmic partner. If you feel that they are jealous of every little fucking thing you do, well, you gotta look at yourself. Are you the karmic partner? Maybe you have karmic family. Maybe you have karmic family. Maybe they're telling you, oh, you don't need to have that particular person. Well, how do you know? Do you know what my life is like when I'm with them and we're alone? Do you think that that person was blissful? If that person is not blissful and brings you peace, then that person is not for you. My husband did not bring me peace. Every day I wondered what was today going to bring. Because his attitude and demeanor would change in an instant. I was looking for relief with a new perspective. And he was hesitant to help others all the time. So without hesitation, I was concerned all the time. I could not trust him. Period. I had to focus, and he was focused on desire. I was at a standstill in my life. I was denying my truth. I was looking for a celebration, but I was completely shy. I still won't let anybody in. I would prefer a past person coming into my life than me having to go search for somebody else. I would prefer a past person come into my life because I feel more connected with the past, and I'm sure those past people have got their partying all out, and have learned through their cycle
Knocking them out.
that is done. That they have decided to move past their aggressive behavior,
Knocking them out.
that they are willing to admit their betrayal. And I sought forgiveness from past people because of my medical issues. My medical issues were the reason. Because I have experience. I lost my son in 2020. Life is short. His was suicide. But it was because of an almost 11-year cancer battle. At the end, it was terminal. He was told he had 6 months, and he lived 3 years. He was in a lot of pain when he died. And sometimes, and he had a solid foundation. But it was his business. He got tired of multitasking his life between, am I going to live another day? And that was my daughter's fear when she hadn't lived with her, and that was also my fear. You know, I would be there and babysitting our grandkids, and the potential every day was the fact that, is he going to be alive when he comes downstairs? Or am I going to get used to it?
Well, good luck, you guys.
And that was tough. Getting the news that he had taken his
So wait,
life.
this is
But in his suicide note, he stated he was there. And you can't
Drinking again.
deny a person
Drinking
thinking
again.
that particular. To me, that's compassionate. And I don't regret it. But the difference is a lot of people don't
Big
look at
lender,
that.
money
They look at
spent.
it as giving up. There were secrets
Big
in my marriage.
lender, money
There were a
spent.
lot of problems. After Michael died, I had to use my imagination. He was the one I wanted to travel with after my friend Tori died. I wanted him to get away from the peer pressure at home. I wanted him to seek a spiritual retreat with me. Because I admired his will to fight for so long. Because he went through chemo. He went through chemotherapy. But his current situation was too great. He was very rigid at the end. I feel like he was cheated out of his life. He got cancer. He got diagnosed when he was 19. And I feel like he got cheated out of his life. He was not fertile. So he adopted his son Joyner. He was looking for fair consequences in his life. And I felt like he was cheated out of it. He wanted responsibility of a family. And he never got to have that, other than Joyner. And that was only for a few years. He was maturing through it. But all he wanted to do was have closure, finally. Now this brought me to clarity, for change. I had to find creative stability and a drastic shift in my life. If it weren't for his suicide, I wonder if I would be where he didn't want me to be. To confidence, to stay ahead. My bond with him, it was a little lacking at first. I had a fascination, and so did he. His fascination was getting through another day. To the point where leaving behind everything you know and leading to a possible disappointment in someone else's life could seem
I
callous.
think that Trump know where he was
And
going.
he took actually the gentle way
Some
out.
probably figured not. But I tell you what, he locked it up so
It
tight.
was a spiritual shift, that's
some
for
can't
sure.
even breathe right.
At the end, his sexuality
I promise you, some can't see that.
was non-existent, just like mine. He told me that he was having problems, but his girlfriend was persistent, that he stay sexually active.
Go to the store, they got
Without
that do that.
regrets, he moved on
You
past
can
her.
find a lot of nice stuff. You just gotta
Started
be the
saving his
right
energy.
kind.
but I knew it was fearful for his life.
But I ain't on that page, but I go get some for someone.
He wanted to travel too.
Okay?
He wanted to travel with me. I remember having a conversation with him. We were going to travel the United States. We were going to take off and go. And I told him that I would. But when I took off, it was 2019, and I didn't have the money to do it. Not then. And he was still seeing chemo doctors. And he was also under hospice care at the time. And I felt a little bit.
Free donut? I thought you guys were with the convention center or something, you know. They do the free donut, you know.
I recall the conversation. I'm trying to think of it now. The conversation we had about Michael and I traveling. I had a 2008 Nissan Altima, and I love that car. It was a sport coupe. It was 6-speed manual transmission. Had all the bells and whistles. He worked on that car. Michael was a mechanic. He went to UTI in Houston before he died. Well, before he got diagnosed with cancer. He had to drop out, and then he went to St. Jude for treatment as a 19-year-old. He was still under 21, so he was still considered a juvenile. And he felt like being there was a little bit too personal, too real, because he had to deal with everybody in the treatment facility being younger than he was, and he could see them being more excited about their life daily, but he couldn't feel that way about himself. So it kind of got him into a cycle of self-pity. That would be the cycle that I would consider that. So he went on antidepressants and mood stabilizers, which got him into a cycle of other abuses. And that's very important, because if you are not focused, you can get into a repetitive cycle of past mistakes. His past mistakes were constantly abusive of some nature. He was looking for love. He wanted the compassion, but he was uncertain. He was uncertain. He didn't want to offend anyone, but sometimes you can manifest your own fear, but what you need to manifest and what you need to focus on is structure. Stop being restless. Stop being troubled. Sometimes these troubles can lead to indulgence and anxiety. And you're not doing any justice for yourself. You're not doing any justice for yourself when you return to a feeling of loss. And sometimes that was an announcement to me that I didn't think I was going to ever get over. And every day I struggled and fighting. But he was wanting a personality. He wanted to control what was going on in his life. But what he couldn't do was change, and he hid those secrets. Control. Sometimes control and the temptation to use was always there. It excited him to try and get past that feeling of loss. He was missing the subtle signs. Sometimes those signs were boredom. Moving beyond his sorrows, that was his decision. And I was where I had to be understanding for the rest of it. It took a conversation, a lot of effort to tell them. Tell the brothers and sisters what had actually happened. but everybody kind of suspected it. It was wisdom and intelligence. Michael was very intelligent. I still feel like he is. Now I feel like I have a responsibility, and I feel like I have the authority to speak with him and for him open-mindedly. And I'm stopping the juggling, and I'm looking for rewards and success. With no fear, always growth. Traveling, I can't express this enough. I am traveling my ass off. I am not staying in one place for too fucking long because I need peace. And that's the facts. I contemplate every day where I'm going next. Relying on the support of others? No. I am not relying on the support of others. I am quite stable, but I am aggressive and nurturing. So, I am putting away the fear, looking for growth in my self-discipline and clarity. And I'll become a teacher for others to do it, because everyone has the potential. And if you're jealous of this, go fuck yourself, because I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely. I'm looking for new friendships, creating them. I am getting away from troubled friendships. I am being creative and very severe in my words, and surprising a lot of people, because they did not expect this out of me, and they expect the worst for me. And for those, I tell you, go fuck yourself. This takes strategy, stuff you couldn't use because you used too much caution. I'm not lonely. I may look alone, but I'm not lonely. I am not lonely. I use sensitivity to get through my shit and drop in my karmic cycles. I may look unstable, but I am not material. I want fairness in my life. I'm living with a little mystery. I'm seeking justice in my life, and I'm building a desire. I'm building trust in God. Being held accountable. And if you haven't studied the laws, let me give you these laws. There are a couple of laws you need to look into. One is the law of one. The second one is laws of karma. The third is law of attraction. And the fourth is law of assumption. When you study those, you'll get the idea of how to move forward in your life and look for balance. Use ethics. If you feel rejected, tell them to go fuck themselves and keep moving on. And don't let ailments stop you. I have plenty of ailments. Like I told you, I've got thyroid issues. I'm facing my demons. I'm not moving with conflict. I'm dropping that shit like a bad habit. Yeah, this is one you can go cope with yourself on. A lot of people smoke, but I got too many other demons in my closet right now that are mental, actually, because they fuck with you a lot. And I'm using my creativity to keep moving on. Sometimes you gotta use rational thought and drop patterns of behavior with a passion. Stop debating. If that requires a union, if that requires hope and cooperation, sometimes that requires sensitivity, but it always requires nature. Use logic. Stop using ignorance. Sometimes the simplicity is a new adventure. Sometimes the best route is painful. A union can always be the painful thing to drop. But you gotta look at the beauty of it on both sides. Are you doing them a favor? Are you doing yourself a favor? Because sometimes you need to rest and find harmony for yourself. Mine was a painful loss, but it's regenerating balance. And my happiness in nature and spirituality. Not war, nature and spirituality. this has been Mystical Moments, and I hope this has been a conversation that you could use, and hopefully we get to chat again very soon. Again, if you don't like my content, hard left. If you do not like my appearance, go fuck yourself and hard left. If you don't like my verbiage, hard left. If you do not like my conversation, hard left. If you don't like my voice, hard left. If you don't like anything about my channel, hard left. If you love my attitude, my creativity, my stories, if you want to support me, the support you can donate at Gone Coastal, GONECOASTAL 78 at
They
Venmo.
look grown. They look grown.
That
They
is
young. They
where
young.
you can
They
donate.
ain't grown
And
yet.
this has
They
been
look
Mystical
grown. They ain't
Moments.
grown yet.
Anything else I need to do today?
Oh.
All right. Peace out. Love. Later.